What if one day you looked at someone you love and their name simply didn't come to you? What if a memory you've held onto for decades quietly slipped away? I'm Dr. Thomas Harrison, and if that thought feels unsettling, you're not alone. For years, we've been told that memory loss is a one-way road, that once it begins, it only moves in one direction. But what if that belief isn't entirely true? What if your brain is not shutting down but trying to heal? Emerging research in neuroscience is revealing something remarkable. The brain is far more dynamic than we once believed. Even later in life, it has the ability to repair connections, clear out toxic buildup, and even reactivate pathways that seemed lost. In other words, your memories may not be gone. They may simply be waiting. And tonight, I want to share something with you. Something simple, grounded in science, that could help support this natural process. Because the story of your mind may not be over yet. Let's take a closer look at what may be happening inside your brain, in a way that's simple, clear, and grounded in science. Imagine for a moment that your brain is like a vast city. Each memory, each thought, each name or face you recognize travels along tiny pathways like cars moving through streets. These pathways are formed by connections between brain cells, what we call neurons. When everything is working smoothly, those signals move quickly and efficiently. You remember things clearly, you think sharply. But over time, something can begin to interfere. Inside the brain, certain proteins can start to accumulate. Think of them like clutter, or even small roadblocks forming along those streets. As more of this buildup appears, it becomes harder for signals to pass through. What was once a clear, open meric now feels like a traffic jam. And this is where those everyday experiences begin. That moment when a name feels just out of reach. When you walk into a room and forget why. When your thoughts feel slightly slower than they used to be. It may not be because your brain is failing. It may be because communication inside the brain is being disrupted. Now here's the important part. Your body has natural systems designed to protect and support your brain. One of the most fascinating areas of research today focuses on natural compounds found in food, particularly something called anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are the pigments that give certain fruits and vegetables their deep blue, purple, and red colors. You'll find them in foods like berries, black grapes, purple cabbage, even certain types of rice. But they're not just colorful, they're active. These compounds have been studied for their ability to support brain health in several ways. First, they act as antioxidants. That means they help neutralize what we call oxidative stress, essentially wear and tear that can damage brain cells over time. Second, anthocyanins appear to support communication between brain cells. In simple terms, they help those roads stay clearer and more functional. And third, emerging research suggests they may play a role in helping the brain manage and respond to the buildup of unwanted proteins. Not by forcing anything, but by supporting the brain's natural balance. Now there's another system I want you to understand, because it becomes especially active when you sleep. It's called the glymphatic system. You can think of this as your brain's cleaning system. During the day, your brain is incredibly busy, processing information, managing decisions, storing memories. But at night, especially during deep sleep, something remarkable happens. Your brain begins to clean itself. Fluids move through brain tissue, washing away waste products, including some of those proteins we talked about earlier. It's almost like a nighttime maintenance crew, quietly clearing debris so that everything can function better the next day. But here's the key. This system works best when your body is supported, when sleep is consistent, when nutrition provides the right building blocks, and when your brain has what it needs to maintain its natural balance. So when you connect all of this together, a clearer picture begins to form. Those moments of forgetfulness, that sense of mental fog, that slower recall, they may be linked to changes happening inside the brain, like buildup that affects communication. But at the same time, your body has built-in systems designed to respond. Natural compounds like anthocyanins may help protect and support your brain cells. And deep restorative sleep allows your brain to clear out what it no longer needs. This is not about quick fixes or dramatic claims. It's about understanding that your brain is active, responsive, and still capable of change. And when you begin to support these natural processes, even in small, consistent ways, you may be giving your brain the environment it needs to function more clearly. So the question becomes, what are the simple things you can start doing, perhaps even tonight, that align with how your brain is already designed to heal and restore? That's what we're going to explore next. Now that we understand what may be happening inside the brain, let's talk about something quietly exciting emerging from modern research. Not a miracle, not a quick fix, but a promising direction. I'm Dr. William Lee, and one of the most important shifts in science today is this. Instead of trying to force the brain to change, researchers are asking a different question. How can we better support what the brain is already designed to do? Because as we've seen, your brain already has its own maintenance system. It already works to clear waste. It already tries to repair and protect its connections. The challenge is, over time, these systems can become less efficient. Think of it like a home that cleans itself every night. When everything is working well, small amounts of dust and clutter are cleared away before they build up. But if the cleaning process slows down, even slightly, those small amounts begin to accumulate, day after day, week after week, until eventually the space feels crowded. That's very similar to what may be happening in the brain. Now here's where the breakthrough idea comes in. Researchers are studying certain natural compounds, many of them found in everyday foods, that appear to support these built-in processes. Not by acting like drugs, not by forcing dramatic changes, but by helping the brain do its job a little more effectively. Let's go back to those anthocyanins we discussed earlier. These compounds don't erase protein buildup, but studies suggest they may help in three important ways. First, they help reduce oxidative stress. Think of this as lowering the wear and tear on brain cells. When cells are less stressed, they function more efficiently. Second, they may support healthy blood flow to the brain. And this is important because your brain relies on a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients to maintain those communication pathways. And third, and perhaps most interesting, they may help create an environment where the brain's natural cleanup system can work more smoothly. In other words, they don't replace the cleaning crew, they support it. Imagine a team coming in overnight to clear debris. If the pathways are too clogged, too inflamed, or too restricted, that team can't move efficiently. But if the environment is supported, if things are just a little clearer, a little more open, the process becomes more effective. And over time, that can make a difference. Now, I want to be very clear here. This is not about instant results. It's not about drinking something once and waking up with perfect memory. The brain doesn't work that way. But what this research suggests is something far more meaningful. That small, consistent support through nutrition, sleep, and daily habits may help your brain maintain its function, and in some cases, improve how clearly it operates. And this aligns with what we know about the glymphatic system. Remember, that nighttime cleaning process. When you sleep deeply, your brain becomes more efficient at clearing waste. But if the system is supported from multiple angles, less oxidative stress, better circulation, healthier cells, then that nightly cleanup may become more effective over time. So instead of thinking about memory loss as something fixed, something inevitable, we begin to see a different picture. A dynamic system, a responsive organ, a brain that is still working for you, not against you. And perhaps most importantly, a brain that can still be supported. Now, the natural question becomes, what does that actually look like in real life? What are the simple, practical steps, the small, daily choices that align with this science and help your brain do what it was designed to do? That's exactly what I want to share with you next. Now, let's bring all of this into something simple, something you can actually do. Because understanding the science is important, but what truly matters is how it fits into your daily life. I'm Dr. William Lee, and one gentle habit I often recommend is a simple nighttime drink, something that works with your body, not against it. This is not a treatment, it's not a cure, but it's a small, supportive step that aligns with how your brain naturally functions, especially during sleep. The idea is to include foods that are naturally rich in anthocyanins, those deeply colored compounds we talked about earlier that may help protect brain cells and support overall function. Here's a simple way to do it. In the evening, about 30 to 60 minutes before bed, you can prepare a light berry drink. Start with a small handful of berries. These could be blueberries, blackberries, or even a mix. Fresh or frozen both work well. Place them in a cup or bowl and gently mash them to release their natural juices. Then add warm water. Not boiling, just comfortably warm. Let it sit for a minute or two. If you prefer a smoother texture, you can blend the mixture instead. From there, you can enjoy it as it is. Or if you'd like, add a small touch of cinnamon or a drop of honey for flavor. Keep it light and simple. This isn't meant to be heavy or overly sweet. You can also choose to have it cool instead of warm, especially in warmer weather. What matters most is consistency, not perfection. Now, why in the evening? Because this is when your brain begins to transition into its natural repair phase. As you move into deeper sleep, your glymphatic system becomes more active, helping clear waste and support balance within the brain. Providing your body with supportive nutrients beforehand may help create a better environment for that process to occur. Think of it like preparing your home before the cleaning crew arrives. You're not doing the cleaning yourself, you're simply making it easier for the process to happen. Now, I want to set a very important expectation. This is not something you take once and feel a dramatic change overnight. The brain responds to patterns, to consistency, to gentle, repeated support over time. So if you choose to try this, think of it as part of a routine, something calming, something intentional, a signal to your body that it's time to rest and restore. And just as important, please remember that this is not a replacement for medical care. If you are experiencing ongoing or worsening memory concerns, or if you have a diagnosed condition, it's important to speak with your doctor. The same applies if you are taking medications, managing blood sugar, or have dietary restrictions. This simple drink is meant to support general well-being, not to diagnose, treat, or cure any condition. But here's the encouraging part. Small habits, when practiced consistently, can have a meaningful impact over time. Not because they are powerful on their own, but because they work with your body's natural systems. And sometimes, it's these small, quiet changes that begin to create a larger shift in how you feel, how you think, and how clearly your mind responds. So tonight, if you choose to begin, don't think of it as a solution. Think of it as support, a simple step toward giving your brain what it needs. And in the next part, I want to share what many people begin to notice when they stay consistent with these kinds of gentle, supportive habits. I want to take a quiet moment with you here, because this part matters just as much as the science. I'm Dr. William Lee, and after years of studying the human body, I can tell you something important, something deeply reassuring. Your brain is not fixed. It is not static. And it is not simply winding down. Your brain is adaptable. Even as we grow older, it continues to respond to what you do each day, to how you nourish it, and to how you care for yourself. It has the ability to form new connections, to strengthen existing ones, and to adjust in ways that we once didn't fully understand. Now, this doesn't happen overnight, and I want to be very honest with you about that. There is no single drink, no single habit, no single moment that suddenly changes everything. That's not how the body works. Real change, lasting, meaningful change, happens gradually. But that doesn't make it any less powerful. In fact, it makes it more real and more within your reach. Because what truly supports your brain are the small things you do consistently. The way you wind down in the evening, the quality of your sleep, the foods you choose day after day, the gentle routines you build into your life. These may seem simple, even insignificant at times, but your brain notices. Think of it like caring for a garden. You don't plant a seed and expect it to grow overnight. You water it, you give it sunlight, you protect it from harm, and over time, something begins to change beneath the surface. At first, it's invisible, but slowly, steadily, growth begins. Your brain works in a very similar way. Those moments of forgetfulness you've experienced, they don't define you. They are signals, not sentences. And with the right kind of support, your brain can respond in quiet but meaningful ways. So if you've been feeling concerned, or even discouraged, I want you to know this. You are not alone in this experience. And more importantly, you are not without options. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You don't need to change your life all at once. Just begin with one small step. Maybe it's that simple evening routine. Maybe it's improving your sleep, little by little. Maybe it's becoming more mindful of what you nourish your body with. And then, stay consistent. Because over time, those small actions begin to add up. They create an environment where your brain can function more clearly, more smoothly, more like itself. And perhaps the most important thing I want to leave you with in this moment is this. Your story is still unfolding. Your mind is still capable. Your brain is still working for you. And as we move into the final part of this video, I want to bring all of this together in a way that leaves you feeling not just informed, but truly hopeful about what comes next. As we come to the end of this conversation, I want you to take a quiet moment and reflect on what you've just learned. I'm Dr. Thomas Harrison, and if there's one idea I hope stays with you, it's this. Your brain is not something that simply fades with time. It is something that responds. It responds to how you live each day, to how you rest, to how you nourish your body, and to the small choices you make, often without even realizing their importance. We've talked about how the brain has its own natural systems, how it works to repair, to clear, and to restore. And while none of this happens instantly, it reminds us of something powerful. You are not powerless in this process. There are things within your control, simple, steady actions that can support your brain in doing what it was designed to do. And it doesn't have to begin with something complicated. In fact, it's often the simplest steps that matter most. Maybe tonight it's choosing to wind down a little earlier, creating a calm moment before sleep, or preparing that small, nourishing drink as part of a gentle routine, not as a cure, not as a promise, but as a way of saying to your body, I'm ready to support you. Because real change doesn't come from doing everything perfectly. It comes from showing up consistently, from repeating small supportive habits day after day, even when the results aren't immediately visible. And that's something worth remembering. Your progress may be quiet, it may be gradual, but that doesn't make it any less real. So be patient with yourself. If you forget something tomorrow, that's okay. If some days feel clearer than others, that's normal. What matters is that you continue, that you keep giving your brain the environment it needs: rest, nourishment, and care. Because over time, those small choices begin to shape something bigger: a clearer moment, a sharper thought, a stronger sense of confidence in your own mind, and perhaps, most importantly, a renewed sense of trust in yourself. So as you move forward from here, I want you to carry this with you. You don't need to have all the answers today. You don't need to change everything at once. Just begin. One small step, one simple habit, one quiet decision to care for your brain. Because your mind is not finished. It is still learning, still adapting, still capable of more than you may realize. And sometimes, the most powerful change begins the moment you decide to support it.